Thank you, Dr. Neil Brummel. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Perfect. Oh, thank you. I could be British. And as he said, you can all answer his questions he raised in the last slide. And now let's move on to the last presentation before the lunch break. Now let's hear about underground infrastructure overview. And the presenter is PVC.
Hello everybody. My name is Raiko Puustusmaa. I'm a senior consultant in PwC, and agenda was really cryptic what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about a little bit. Dr. Neil had a really good introduction on what challenges are ahead in UK, and I can put some emphasis on the level as we are dealing in Tallinn. And today I'm going to briefly talk about one of the analysis we're currently doing, and it's related to underground infrastructure in Tallinn. So as we all know, underground is pretty crowded with all the different infrastructure, technical equipments, gas, water. And as discussed earlier already, then in Tallinn also, it is a challenge to actually understand and know what is in underground and what technical networks run and where do they run. And the challenge is also that Tallinn lacks data, and both it's either insufficient or it's absent. And as Dr. Neil brought out, one big question is the depth of this infrastructure, which is really a challenge to know. And give a more overview of Tallinn, then also Tallinn is old. That means that we also have technical infrastructure that is already over 100 years old, and it still might be running. So there are different surprises also dealing infrastructure in Tallinn. So the analysis, we are doing it with Tallinn Strategy Center, and we have been conducting different stakeholder interviews with important stakeholders related to technical networks. So we have basically two sides. We have the sides who have the data, so the technical network owners have actually the best data available about the networks. On the other side, we have local municipality who tries to manage the space in the most efficient way, to have long-term plans to prevent any problems related to, as earlier said, disruptions where somebody digs into a cable that could have been avoided due to better data quality. And in the essence, we had three main topics that we wanted to explore in this analysis. The first part was to find out what are the problems that are rising to Tallinn due to the insufficiencies in data and the lack of data. And also to find out the reasons why this data is not complete, what are the challenges, what are the problems, and also to find the solutions, how to go forward to actually reach to the state where the city has enough data and there is no data starvation. Here I brought out some important stakeholders. So we also have been in discussions with water, sewage, electricity, telco, gas, so all the important players. And as I said earlier, we have two sides. We have sides, technical network owners who own the data, and on the city side, we have the need to get the data in order to plan, have long-term plans and have better access to data to provide also info to other network owners and to find the compliance. And we had 3 hypotheses that we wanted to test in this analysis. And the first hypothesis we wanted to test was actually that Tallinn assumes full responsibility for the data acquisition and management of underground infrastructure network data. Basically, what is meant here is that city is the ultimate, ultimately needs the data and technical network infrastructure owners are more of interested on their up-to-date data, but they are not so much interested to see the whole picture. Yes, of course, when different works are done, the data needs to be exchanged anyway. So the previous presenter who showed us about a little bit Vilnius insights, there was a really good example how different technical network owners and the city interact with each other to prepare longer-term plans and be aware that if in some street some management works are going on, that we avoid multiple intrusions in one section due to different works in different time frame that could be at the same time. And the first hypothesis we had could bring out 2 questions: that if Tallinn would generally manage this technical network data and acquire it, what challenges will this entail? And the other question, what assumption does central management impose to different stakeholders? Stakeholders, they have different views on that. Everybody would be happy to have data, detailed data, and have it fast, but they also have some questions related, again, as brought out previously, trust. That do we trust that the data that we give out will be managed confidently and it will not be given out to everybody? It's also the question of, in some cases, could be the question of competition, that do we want that our data is shared with our competitors? So there are these kind of underlying questions and motivations that also has to be counted for. Related to this this question. And I can already tell you that right now I will not give you answers to all these questions since the study is still undergoing, but we will find the answer to these questions. So again, a bit too, I'm throwing out some questions, some insights, but not the final solutions and answers. The second hypothesis actually is that that the Tallinn has actually existing technological solutions already, and the essential is to actually address just the process bottlenecks today and to realize the full potential. And the questions here regarding this hypothesis is what actions and process changes are necessary to improve data quality? Well, this is also an interesting question since the data is also in different states regarding to technical network owners. So, and the other aspect is also that technical network owners are different level in the state of digitalization, in the state of their sizes and the capabilities to actually provide data in that particular way that would be easiest way to implement it by the city. So there are also some underlying questions regarding this and problems. And what problems do inaccurate data cause for different stakeholders? This is also a really interesting question because so far I can say that it's twofold since they have been managed so far. So we know that there are disruptions, there are utility strikes, there are different problems arising when underground technical network is being repaired or replaced. It's a new nuance to local citizens when there are roadblocks, of course, and this problems on the other way today there are like ways how it's been dealt with. So basically, what that means is that today it's just realized in basically risks. So we know that we do some work somewhere in the city with some technical networks. It means that we are taking the risk that there might be a cable that we are not aware of, or the depth is not correct. But we know the general standard where usually the technical network, dependent on what type of it is, whether it's water or sewage, where it should be. So we are being cautious, but it also takes more time. It's more costly also. And the third hypothesis is that Tallinn has the authority to mandate that the owners of technical networks submit more comprehensive and periodic data than local municipality has today available. But the questions here are that should the landowner have more rights to request and acquire this more detailed data? And yes, to what extent? Today, the data is being exchanged between local municipality and certain technical network owners. The question also here is that the data today is standardized differently. The question is that how, when we ask data, that we are sure that we ask data and we can also explain what data we need to the technical network owners. So this is a question about basically collaboration and agreement between the technical network owners and local municipality on what level and how the data is shared, in sense that both will be happy and the technical network owners won't be overburdened with this data sharing. And the other question is that which technical network data is the most important for planning today. So we know there's a lot of data. As previously showed also, the data can be related to what type of material the plumbing is, the depth box, of course, the location exactly. So there are a lot more data, a lot of data that technical network providers hold. But the question is also here, what data is needed in certain aspects if local municipality wants to have a long-term planning related to maybe street renovations and underground network renovations done at once, for example, or other questions. What is the most essentially, what is the most important data that is needed in that sense? On the right, I also brought out the picture we got for the city. It also shows you a bit the differences or the challenges that we have related to the data that is provided to the local municipality and the data that is taken from the as-built drawings. As you can see there, the lines don't add up. And this is also a bit the question of real life versus what is on the paper. So we know that the data is somewhat old. So that also means that, as Dr. Nee brought out, that if we digitalize this data, it doesn't mean that it's correct. And it's also a challenge today. I guess it's a challenge all over the world today, how to effectively, without going underground, gather this information, whether it's LiDAR scanners or other type of technical solutions, but how to gather this data maybe without going underground to check where actually the plumbing or sewage is. And this is also it is a challenge today. But it also means that today, if we talk about digitalization of this data, we have to take into account that it still might not be 100% correct. So even if we would have like 100% digitalized data today, as we don't in Tallinn, that would mean that regarding technical networks, we still might, understand that if it's not that correct, we have to understand that there is some risk that we still might dig into something we didn't want to, especially if there's some infrastructure that is not even mapped and it doesn't exist. So I gave you some preliminary insights from the analysis. I understand also that we don't have many time for questions. I don't want to be between you and lunch. But I would stay here after the presentation. So if you have any questions, you can ask, because I'm giving you a very, very little information here. So if you talk about underground technical networks, then we know, as I said before, that technical networks that were built somewhere around 2010, 2009, it varies. It usually is, you can assume that it might be inaccurate or incomplete, especially if we talk about the depth of the infrastructure. And that also means that if we talk about data sharing between local municipalities and network holders, it raises the question to the owners or the risk to the owners that they want to be cautious about sharing their data, because they wouldn't want to take responsibility if they give something out that is not correct. Today, how it's in practicality work means that if you are doing some underground technical network construction, usually if you have any other technical networks close by, then you just call a representative who can, give you some more information or actually confer that the technical network is here where it's said on the map, or it's a bit different. But this is how it's related to taking the responsibility, where the technical network is and what the data shows and what's the reality. The quality improves each year, so generally the picture is going better. So all the new infrastructure that is being built or has been built, the data is better. We have the depth, we have the information that we need. So the question is a bit more about in what way the data is written down, or in what way the data is saved. So what I mean is that the data is getting better, the technical solutions are getting better, there are more options. But it's also the question that when talking about the data, and we're talking about as-built surveys, for example, and then we also have to talk about that who is ultimately interested about this data. Of course, we would assume that it's really important that the data is precise to the technical network providers, owners, and to also local municipality. But as we've understood, there are some questions, and this is not something that we have drawn like from this survey or this analysis, because there have been previous analysis done that bring out similar questions or problems. Is the question that who should maybe procure as-built surveys, as the question is that the as-built surveys, somewhere there are problems that they might be not that correct, since there are cases where maybe the hole where the infrastructure was already covered and the measurement was not done on the right time. So are these kind of questions that and problems that are not related to gathering data, but we have to take into account. And this is also something that probably goes more into this surveyors and this overall procurement aspects, that maybe the question of the quality of procurements and the quality overall of these works to have some maybe overview that the data that we get, the new data, it will be appropriate and precise. As I talked earlier, there are many small technical network owners with low level of digitalization in Tallinn. So that means that if we really want to pull in all the data that we need to have the overall view of the underground infrastructure in the city, it means that we'd probably have to find some resources to get this data. And this also means that the data might not be digitalized. That could also mean that the undigitalized data can also be not precise. These questions, these risks will maintain. But overall, Tallinn has been spreading really fast, and there are many new a lot of new urban environment. They're can assume that the data is still more precise. As I brought out the previous Vilnius experience, then we also found out that it's in one sense, technical network owners don't want to share the information that much. On the other side, they really see a lot of potential in close collaboration with the city and with each other, because everybody would be interested to have all this planning and all this technical network underground works done faster, and it's also reduces disruption in street traffic, and it can also lower the costs because they can be shared with different infrastructure owners. And so there is kind of a tendency that that the local municipality has maybe drawn from other examples from other European countries. It's also one way to maybe, as seen here, that Tallinn would be in a more leading role in sense of the collaboration between the stakeholders. And the final point that I wanted to bring out was that efficient planning of technical networks could be supported by unified database or data exchange environment. Yes, this kind of data exchange environments and these kind of things have been also already being, have been developed also on state level. So building register, for example. So we have a lot of data, land board also. We have a lot of places where we have data about all the built infrastructure that we have. So, but it definitely technical network managers and surveyors, they would see a big benefit if they could have a more easier access to certain data that is related to a specific work area where works are planned or done. So, and here also it seems that if local municipality would be leading this kind of collaboration, would be preferable. So this is all. Of course, we have a lot more insights that we gather, but since we haven't finished the analysis yet, then I would conclude it from here. So if you have any questions, then we actually have some minutes, or we can just end earlier, so you can ask later. Yeah, thank you.